Hey, Anthonix Maxiteers. Today we are going to be discussing a movie that came out in the theaters last week. And I wanted to get this out of here, so I didn't bother setting up a light. So, no sexy Anthonix today. If you want your sex appeal, you'll just have to look for Paul Rudd. Or modok. And because I'm filming during the day, don't mind the chirping birds. Because I got the need to discuss Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantumania! And as tradition, if the movie theater has it, you know I'm gonna be buying their merchandise. Like a cup that I'm never gonna use ever again. But I will use their bucket. Once holding popcorn, now holds the action figures I'm not displaying. See you next time, modok. After all these years, this Ant-Man Loot Crate t-shirt has its purpose. So in this third Ant-Man romp, we follow Ant-Man and his partner, Uncle Woman. And joining the cast is Kathryn Newton, playing Ant-Man's daughter, Cassandra. Not really sure why they recasted her. I mean, yes, I get it. Ant-Man's daughter aged 5 years because of the blip. But why do they recast her from Endgame for this movie? For the other actress, I imagine the conversation went like this. Hey, Emma Fuhrman, we loved you so much in Endgame. We want you to come back for this third Ant-Man movie. Oh, do I get to play modok? What? No! You're playing Cassie again! When you get to hell, tell him who sent you. No! You know what? Why don't I put modok up here? Sorry, Goku. Modok is in town. And hopefully won't fall over. He's gonna fall over. Guys, I don't know why they're saying this movie is hated. I don't hate the movie. I actually liked this movie in comparison to the other two Ant-Man movies. Why? Because I just kinda didn't care. I love Paul Rudd, and the first Ant-Man was fine enough, but I really did not like the last movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, because while it does have some great elements where they do find Janet Van Dyne, I just didn't like how goofy it was. I didn't like the Walter Coggins villain in it. But this movie was actually better than that one. Albeit, though, it does leave out a lot where it does focus on a new adventure where they go into the quantum realm, which people are right. It does look a lot like something from Spy Kids. Or the oversaturation of CGI with the Star Wars prequels. It does leave out the annoying friend characters that we saw in the previous two movies, like Michael Pena and T.I. I know people like Michael Pena, but I really don't. No offense to Michael Pena, I just mean his character. I'm sure Michael Pena is a nice, wonderful guy. I'm sure he gives kisses everywhere he goes. I'm sure he brings toys to the children at the orphanage. I don't know, I just could never really get into his movies. Just can't explain it. It's just, I think he's just like this generation's John Leguizamo. I went on a bit of a tangent, a bit too long, I'm sorry. Let's get back to this. And while it doesn't have his character from the previous two, David Maltin, Polka Dot Man from the Suicide Squad. He's back in this movie, but he's playing a different character, a CGI character. He plays a character named Veb. And I think this is where the movie starts to lose us, honestly, because once they go into the quantum realm, they start introducing all these side characters, and I know, I get there are many different beings throughout the universes, but it just starts to kind of repeat itself. It's almost like Thor Ragnarok, where you have the rebellion groups, and there's always the funny CGI character throwing quips out there. It's a simple premise. Cassie Lang creates a device that gets them all sucked into the quantum realm, and they have to defeat the bad guy in it. And that's where the movie is unique from the other movies, because it is more of an adventure film. I love that Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer are more involved in this film, because they're playing the original Ant-Man and Wasp. And I love how Michelle Pfeiffer's Janet is aware of everything going on in the quantum realm, because that's where she spent her time. It gives her more to do. I can see where people are complaining because it's kind of a repeated formula, and I can see this film being picked apart by people who are anti-woke or anti-PC meatheads, because Cassie's whole thing is getting arrested because she's protesting, and this plays into the part of them being in a quantum realm because they're fighting against a dictator and tries to overthrow its little government. This isn't a spoiler because it's been shown in the trailers. Bill Murray's involvement was really kind kind of unnecessary. I mean, it was fun, Bill Murray being his Bill Murrayist, but he's just more of a fill-in comedic fodder, just like how Jeff Goldblum was in Thor Ragnarok. Bill Murray's character involvement wasn't really that needed, but not surprisingly at all, we did get a great performance out of Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. I mean, we already saw how he was in Loki, so he was just as great in this film. We get a little bit of his backstory, and we get to see him as a fighter. Now, the other thing people are going to tear apart is modok. I don't know why people are tearing apart modok. My only complaint is that this modok is the Darren Cross character, the bad guy from the first movie, who actually is Yellow Jacket, who is actually a hero in the comics, but whatever, they like to shake things up. But he's modok in this film. While I could have used more of AIM that initially created modok, I liked this modok. I don't know why people are making fun of him. Oh, the face looks fake on modok's body. Well, I mean, modok is a ridiculous character. He's not supposed to be like a Christopher Nolan character, but people are just really putting too much emphasis on modok. He's just ridiculous. He has to be. From this moment on, let's get into the spoilers. But if you have not seen the movie and do care to see it, I suggest you skip right to... Hi, friends who have seen the movie, or friends who have not seen the movie but don't care about spoilers. Welcome. We're not going to spend too much time here. I'm just going to power right through this. Because, what do you say? It's fine. It's fun. It's serviceable. I'm not going to call it the worst movie. Everything I said in the non-spoiler can be applied here. As we know, nobody dies from this. It does seem like characters will die, but the only one that really dies is modok. I really didn't like his sudden 180 change, trying to make Darren Cross a relatable character. But hey, if you wanted to see what modok's butt looked like, oh, you were in for a treat, weren't you? And it is suggested that Kang survives at the end. I don't know why he needed to survive. I mean, it's supposed to be Kang from different multiverses, so why not just keep having him on a rotation of different versions of Kang? We see that in mid-credits, all these several different versions of Kangs, but now this Kang was in exile, so I guess that's one we have to focus on. And at the end credits, you get what I think is actually more of a scene from Loki Season 2 of Jonathan Majors, Kang, talking to people in a Victorian time era. So anyways, that's all I have to say. There's really not anything that needs to be spoiled. So let's go ahead and invite our non-spoiler friends into this right about now. Hey, welcome back, you non-spoiler Anthonix Maxiteers. Too bad you didn't see the movie. You could have joined me into the spoiler part where we discussed how to be happy and a millionaire. But you didn't see the movie, so you weren't part of that discussion. So yeah, just to wrap it up, I'm gonna say, two other people who weren't in the movie, Cassie's stepdad and her mother. Yeah, just absent. I will say this, what's interesting about this film though is, unlike all the other post-Endgame Marvel movies, this actually does not rely on crossovers from other superheroes. It's just Ant-Man and the Wasp. You didn't see Thor show up. You didn't see Spider-Man or anything like that. It was just Ant-Man and Wasp. Honestly, I don't get Rotten Tomatoes. I think they're really full of it. But the low score is unnecessary. I would not even say this is the worst Marvel film like people are pretending it is. If anything, it's formulaic. It's starting to follow that same Marvel, MCU, Disney pit. It's like they took some of the good ideas they got from the previous movies and try to force it onto us over and over again. And honestly, I think Endgame spoiled us. Very hard act to follow. But yeah, I wouldn't say this is the worst Ant-Man movie. In fact, where I look at the other two Ant-Man movies as more of fillers, just to get us to the next Avengers, I look at this one as having some kind of meaning that will impact the MCU. I'll just go ahead and say it. I call this movie a 7 out of 10. Closer to a 6 than an 8. 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching Anthonix Maximus Matinee. Keep a lookout for the next Anthonix Maximus reviews, and have a happy. Can you explain to me why certain heroes have their names the way they are? Ant-Man and Spider-Man get a dash in between words, where you have names like Superman and Batman that are one word, but then you got Iron Man that has 2 words. I don't get it. Please help me learn.
sorry, Cassie.